Now it's time for Movie Friends with your hosts Michelle and Seth. We're talking film without pretension. We're finding cats that are unexpected. We'll watch a movie, film, or schmovie, and we want you to join our journey. So subscribe and share this podcast, or this might just be the last of the Movie Friends. We're movie friends. We want to be your movie friends.
Welcome to New Release Review, part of the Movie Friends podcast. My name is Seth. Today we are talking about Karate Kid Legends from 2025, directed by Jonathan Entwistle. We will be discussing spoilers throughout this entire episode, so if you haven't seen Karate Kid Legends, and if for some reason it is very important to you that this movie is not spoiled for you, turn this off, go watch the movie, and then come back and listen. My guest for today is musician Sean Faust. Sean, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. We had a ghost in the machine as we were trying to start recording, which happens pretty much every time I record with someone new, so don't feel too bad.
It'll happen again if you're goodly enough to have me on again. I don't even know what happened that fixed it, to be honest with you.
Hey, that's okay. Yeah, you just start pressing stuff, and
I stopped pressing stuff.
Yeah,
that's why it worked.
So, you had actually picked this one to talk about, and I was curious, before we talk about Karate Kid Legends, I was curious about what your relationship is to the Karate Kid movies, and perhaps even the show, if you've seen the show.
So 1983, I'm going to give you like a quick synopsis of where I'm coming from. So 1983, I start taking karate. Then this movie comes out, and my mom is like, "Oh, the Karate Kid. I know nothing about this. My mom's just going to take me to the movies, and that's good enough for me." And it's the Karate Kid, and not only is it a kid learning karate, but it's doing Okinawan karate. I was learning Okinawan karate, so I was kind of like, wow, I like this movie. And I didn't pay attention to the fact that, like, fine, he wins on an illegal kick.
Right.
And then, I loved the second one. I saw that in the theater a couple times as well. The third one is the one that I missed in the theater, which is okay. That's fine by me.
Sure.
There's some really clunky dialogue, but it has my favorite tournament fight, because it's like my favorite lesson overall is in that movie. Everybody's all about fighting, and I'm all about like that inner peace. So Daniel winning by doing kata and getting into his head just does it for me. It's like it's probably my favorite of the tournaments. My favorite fight is still the end of 2. Next Karate Kid happened, and I kind of thought, and I'm sure we'll get into it later on, but I kind of thought that the guy that was running the dojo in this was the dude that Hilary Swank beat the crap out of at the end of Next Karate Kid, but it was not. It was Mutt from Schitt's Creek. But I was also, like I said, Next Karate Kid happened, but I love Michael Ironside. I'm a huge Michael Ironside fan.
Sure.
And Walton Goggins is in this. I'm not telling people to go and watch the Next Karate Kid. In fact, I'll tell you the opposite. Don't ruin any high opinions of Hilary Swank you might have.
Sure.
Or Pat Morita, or the legacy, no pun intended,
Yeah.
of the Karate Kid series. And I'm one of the few people I really like the 2010 movie.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of James Horner, so that, like, the score just does it for me. Jackie Chan in that Karate Kid movie kind of pulls a Stallone in Copland, where it's like, wow, wait, you can actually act this well.
Yeah.
Why don't you do more of this, please?
Yeah.
And I asked my friend Brian the other night, I'm like, is Jackie Chan's performance just really super enhanced because of how terrible the performance of Dre is? He's like, both could be possible.
Sure.
So Jackie Chan's great. I really like the 2010 movie, but where Daniel's kind of likable, he's a smart ass, but he's likable.
Yeah.
Dre's kind of just an asshole.
Yeah.
He's just not very likable, and I think that's what turns people off a lot about the 2010 movie, minus the lack of karate. And so I love this franchise. And then Cobra Kai, I saw the first 2 episodes in the theater when they were doing that some years ago.
Wow.
So they showed the first 2 episodes for the anniversary of the first movie, and then it was the first movie. So I was like, I love Cobra Kai. it goes off the rails into some pretty ludicrous territory.
Sure.
Yet I still, for some reason, love that show. It also fixes some of the clunky dialogue. I like that Thomas Ian Griffith actually got to not be so over the top cheesy while being over the top cheesy. But what about you? Where do you fall in with the Karate Kid saga?
Yeah, so I'm a little younger. So I was born in '88, and the first Karate Kid movie that I saw was, the Hilary Swank one.
Oh man, was this your introduction to Michael Ironside at least?
And that's possible too. But I watched it and I was fine. My thing is I'm not a sports movie person. I've never been into sports. I never played sports. I was more into playing music, right? Which I know, you do both, which is cool.
Oh, I do not sports at all. Not in the slightest. No.
Oh no. So you wouldn't consider martial arts part of that.
I mean, I haven't done it in years, but
yeah.
Martial arts to me, and I know I'm probably the odd man out on this, but it's probably a lot of the Mr. Miyagi Yoda thing.
Yeah.
Is that it's more spiritual for me.
Sure.
I feel better health wise when I'm practicing, which I haven't in years, like I said. But to me, it's always been more like up here. It's kind of like Miyagi says, it's up here, points to his head, his heart, never the belt. So, but I've never MMA is a sport.
Sure.
But,
okay. Yeah.
But the art of learning a martial art to me is not a sport.
Right.
But I'm with you. I don't do sports. There are some sports movies I'm in love with, but sports to me, I'd rather armchair quarterback a guitar player or a keyboard player. Be like, they should. I mean, I'm not a jazz snob. Like, they should have gone for the sharp 13, not the flat 9. Like, I can't stand that shit. Did the melody sound nice? Cool.
Right.
Done.
Right.
Leave it at that.
But, I grew up playing punk, so it was more about, like you were saying, up here and in your heart than anything else.
Right. Right.
One of the bands that I used to front, I would purposefully not tune my guitar when we started, and that would drive people nuts, but we didn't care. Anyway,
that is punk, brother.
Yes.
That is pure. And you're from the New York area, right?
Yeah, from Long Island.
You're from the island?
Yeah.
Did you guys play around like this area at all? I'm in northern Jersey, so
no. None of the bands that I ever played anywhere off of Long Island. I never put that much effort into it. And this was also at the time where home recording was like really available. Like I bought a Tascam 4-track, off of Musician's Friend, and it was all about recording for us. Like we just loved writing, recording. But yeah, I don't want to say I was necessarily looking forward to this one, but the chance to see Jackie Chan in a movie theater, kind of in any capacity, I'm gonna go for that. And then, of course, when you picked this one to do as an episode, I was like, all right, well, there you go. Now I got to go see Karate Kid Legends.
I'm sorry.
And no. It's the small excuse that I needed to really get me to go.
Fair enough.
But I was kind of pleasantly surprised. I wasn't sure what to expect. I had seen a little bit of Ben Wang talking about how they tried to do things practically. We know that Jackie Chan loves doing things practically. And yeah, I came away from this kind of like, all right, I'm 36 years old. This movie is clearly made for people aged 9 to 15, and that's great and fine. Yeah. And I think that those people would probably like it more than me. When we start and we're kind of putting the translation up on the screen in like cartoony, I was a little worried, but that kind of doesn't maintain throughout the rest of the movie,
which is totally an issue for me, because it's kind of like, because for a while there I'm like, all right, so you're doing the Into the Spider-Verse thing, that's cool. Yeah. I could dig this. And then after a while I'm like, wait, because it happens during a fight, and I was like, oh wait, are we gonna Scott Pilgrim this at the same time? It wasn't consistent, so that ruined it for me a bit tonally. And when you say, for if they're 8, what'd you say, 9 to 15-year-olds? That's probably, if you've never seen a Karate Kid movie before either. Right. Then the whole formula's brand new.
Right. Yeah, I always, whenever I can look at a movie and say, oh, all of the rules of movie making are just so clearly on display here, 3-act structure and all that stuff. I have to remind myself that for whole audiences, they're seeing this for the first, second, or third time. And so it is really, really speaking to them in the way that it's supposed to. For us sad old guys who've seen it 10,000 times, for us, it's very old hat. But we have to, I think, take a step back and think about, like who exactly this is for. But at the same time, you bring in Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. So clearly they're trying to pull in everybody else. So that's kind of how I felt about it. But for you, how did you feel about seeing, Daniel LaRusso and Jackie Chan and everyone back and in this new setting?
So like you said, for a movie like this too, you don't want to step too far outside of that formula, or else here's the problem. And I might rant a bit, I might not, depends, but I'm going to explain that. People always complain like, oh, this is all the same, it's all the same, it's all the same. But then when they get something different, say Eternals, The Last Jedi, they lose their minds. They're like, oh, what was that? It was so different. I couldn't, like, I'm not going to defend The Last Jedi, but I'm going to say, yes, that's a very different movie.
I will 100%. And the Eternals.
There's one
you
thing,
named the two movies that I really
loved
like.
Eternals. I don't know why people. First of all, I love Last Jedi, but the one issue with it that was presented to me makes perfect sense. Luke defeated the two most evil Sith ever, while kind of maintaining the light side, but like tapping a tiny bit into the dark side. This little wimpy, like emo brat is not more powerful than Anakin or Palpatine. So that I can get behind, but it's a movie about failure. So the fact that it fails is ironic. But I love Last Jedi.
It's the second act in a 3-act.
Yes.
It's the downer for.
It's got to be the downer.
Anyway.
No, I get it, because we can go on. But anyway, so people, they got something different and lost their minds while still complaining that it's all the same.
Yeah.
No Time to Die, I'm also going to throw in there.
Sure.
Very misleading title, however.
Right. This is the only thing that there was time for, actually.
Well, they had all the time in the world. So this one, you don't want to step too far out of the structure that the Karate Kid movies have set up. And I love the fact that they took a remake and just made it a requel.
Yeah.
To use Scream 6 terms. That, cool. And I liked the idea of that. I loved the whole idea of bringing Jackie Chan into it.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Dre is not mentioned once. It was neat to see. I liked it. But there were some tonal and pacing issues, or just continuity issues. Not in the 5 movies in the show.
Yeah.
Like Daniel was Daniel, and it takes place 3 hours. Takes place 3 years after Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
So it does what it does, and yeah, if I was 10 years old, this would be my favorite movie in theaters right now.
Yeah. So I think it's okay. I think it's okay to kind of, say that there are things that are not necessarily aimed at us. I was impressed at kind of how they bring about, why does he need to be involved in this tournament? But then everything else kind of felt flimsy. Like his mom being like, no fighting. And he's just immediately fighting. He has PTSD, rightfully so, for his character. I don't think that any of that was forced, but I guess it gets to a point where it's like a lot of convenient things happen. Again, this is,
To quote my friend Jamie in Sulaco, it moves at the speed of plot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and everything it does, it telegraphs everything though.
Yeah.
It doesn't set up any conflict between him and the bad kid, quotes. And because fine, there's the punch in the face on the subway, there's the fight in the school, but there's no overarching bullying happening.
Yeah.
He's just the kid's, he's got a big head, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
But he's not. There's no conflict between them, and he's just going to fight because the first half of this movie just pulls the rug out from under you and said, "Oh, so he's going to train a former boxer."
Yeah.
Nobody saw that coming. I thought that was great. And I also thought that Joshua Jackson was perfectly cast to play, the caring smartass. He's been doing it since Pacey Witter. Why not keep that up? He's so good at it.
Yep. Yeah, I did like how the movie turns a few things on its head from the original. So we're going back to New York, right? And then now it's a kid teaching an older guy, and it's almost like you can see them at the old switch phone board where they're like, all right, let's take this from here and just plug it in over here, and then we'll take this from here and plug it in over here. And even with seeing how it's all just kind of flipping things, I also thought that it was smart. I also thought that that was kind of a fun way of doing the same story again. Yeah, you can say it's literally just flipping things, but I thought that they did it quite well. We're training around a pizza place. That's also kind of an interesting way of doing the whole Miyagi, like washing cars and, practical training. How do we do this? I also liked the idea of him being a boxer. So it's not like he's never fought before, right? Like Daniel's coming straight from the street to winning a karate tournament, which is like,
he had a couple karate lessons back in Newark, and that was it.
Right. That's quite the stretch. But when they're in the boxing match, I thought that they actually did a good job of showing how some of the stuff that he learned does translate. Yeah, I thought it was good. And I liked seeing Joshua Jackson. Honestly, as I was sitting there, I couldn't remember the last time I saw Joshua Jackson in something.
I saw him on the big screen when Scream 2 came out because he's in like one scene for a second.
Yeah.
But I was even telling my wife, like, I've never seen Joshua Jackson on the big screen. We saw him in a show, Front Row. And, I got a picture with him afterwards in the back, like years ago. And that was cool. But, like, it was never like, I never sat in a movie theater and got to watch him act.
Yeah.
Not that he was terrible. He was awesome in the show, too. He's just perfectly cast to play that kind of person. So I didn't realize how much Joshua Jackson I was going to get.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like after Joshua Jackson, well, we'll get to it.
Oh, no, go ahead.
It just feels like after that, the movie stops and rushes at the same time.
Yeah, because we're setting up, okay, so he owes money. We're training towards this fight. Oh, that didn't work out. So now we have to come up with money a different way. So now we have to bring in the two guys to actually train you. So yeah, it is a little bit of two stories.
Right.
Happening.
Which is fine, but if they had, I don't mind two stories in a movie. I mean, you talked about Sinners a couple weeks ago. That is how it's not a genre. That movie has no genre. It takes from a lot of genres, but it's its own thing because of it, and it tells a few stories.
Yeah.
This movie tells two stories, but it tells the second half a little bit weaker than the first half.
Yeah.
Like the kid's a really good teacher, but he's not that great of a student, I guess. And it's not that he's a terrible student. He's willing to put the work into it.
Yeah.
So it's just that I think the filmmakers decided, since we've seen this training kind of thing before, that we don't need another hour of buildup.
Yeah.
But I want to know why he's fighting. Like, what are the stakes? We know that there's money, but what are the real stakes? You never really feel that he's got something to lose because he's got nothing. He loses the fight, that's fine. Then the pizza joint gets lost, and that's it.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, we're really going on just he's got a really great heart. Like that's...
Yeah, I mean, and I'm looking too far into a movie that is made for 9 to 15-year-olds. Like, I want more substance from this.
Right.
But, I mean, it could have used a bit more in that. We call it the second act or the second half. Meanwhile, it's just like it's the last half hour.
Right.
It's a very short movie.
Right, and God bless them, 94 minutes. I didn't feel this runtime really. I mean, in the beginning, we're going around New York City. I laughed a little bit because I have actually gone to New York City to Chinatown to purchase restaurant equipment, and good deals, good equipment available. So I was like, that's very realistic and relatable. But yeah, 94 minutes. I think that there's just there's a few details that I was like, when do we really see the PTSD like really hamper him? He doesn't want to go in the rain, and then he doesn't want to go in the ambulance and then the hospital, but everything still happens. Like he still fights the guys off in the alley. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it just feels like one element that's a little too big, but doesn't have big ramifications throughout the story. Does that make sense?
It seems more of a reason for the mother to not want him to fight than
Right.
for him to, because he has no problem fighting. He just has a problem being there after the fight.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, very much simpler way of doing that. Moms don't want you to fight. That's pretty universal.
This movie decided to kill off an older teenage brother.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, don't fight. How about just like, don't fight?
Right. Yeah. No. You know, when we get to America, no fighting.
Because
okay.
Also, like, so apparently, this is Mr. Han's nephew that died. Like, didn't Mr. Han lost his wife and child in a car accident, and we get that beautiful scene in the 2010 movie of him, like, you know, I don't even know what we were arguing about, but I hope it was important. Like, we get something beautiful like that to, oh, my nephew died in a fight because he got stabbed. It's like, what about his trauma? We don't even address his trauma. Now we're going to kill off another family member? This isn't, you know, I didn't even think about that until you just mentioned it. Now I'm kind of getting pissed off.
I don't know if he did like get his butt handed to him because he kind of froze up at one point and then he had to overcome it. That would make sense, but we don't really see the ramifications for it. So I think that's a really simple way of simplifying this. But I don't know. But anyway, so Ben Wang is playing Li Fan. He's the new Karate Kid in this story. How did you feel about his performance?
He carries the movie. And all right, well, he does. But there's, I really got to just hats off to Joshua Jackson and Sadie. I can't remember her name. Sadie Stanley.
Yeah.
They were both great. Yeah. I thought everybody was great. Everybody did a good job, but this kid really carries the movie, and his chemistry with Jackson is great.
Yeah.
His chemistry with Chan is good. His chemistry with Macchio is good, but he does carry the movie. I'm looking forward to seeing him in The Long Walk. That's one of my favorite Stephen King, Richard Bachman books.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and the fact that, like, around the end of 2023, they put out this huge casting call looking for the next Karate Kid. And this kid's got 2 movies within 3 months of each other. I think that's pretty badass. But I thought Ben Wang was great, and he carried the movie with a lot of charm and personality.
Yeah, I kind of wish that the story was just him moving to New York, him becoming a sensei to Joshua Jackson. You build towards their big fight. Maybe Joshua Jackson loses the first fight, and then they have to re-up and train for the second one. In between, they get to fight more hooligans in the alley who are coming for their money. And that's it. Maybe that's the whole... But I guess people wouldn't accept a Karate Kid that's actually a karate old man.
Which, I mean, also, if they just had the alley fight, that's the Rocky V fight.
Yeah, yeah.
So we can't have that.
You know... I heard my whole life about how horrible Rocky V was, and then I watched them all, and I was like, it's fine. It's not as good. I mean, look, if you're comparing
it's not as
Rocky,
good, but I love the fight.
Yeah, if you're comparing Rocky, the first one, and 5, of course, but if you watch them all in order, it's kind of like a natural, slow puttering down. Yeah, as you know, Stallone's getting older.
I mean, 4, if you took all the montages out, you got yourself a 35-minute movie. So thank God for 80s montages.
That's right. That's right. And I really liked the montage in this one. You know, practicing with the big pizza paddles and I don't know, knocking a thing of olive oil down the counter.
The 1-inch punch. I thought that was awesome. That montage was great. You know what this movie really lacked, though, especially for a Karate Kid movie? Music.
Interesting.
Like, there was music there, but there was nothing there that stood out as, hey, we're Karate Kid music. And I'm not trying to, like, be a gatekeeper with that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Cobra Kai as a show did a really good job of how and when they would use songs from the first two movies,
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah.
Or even Mr. Miyagi's theme, how that was brought into it. So
Yeah.
it was done well. Some of the score in this movie, it touched on Horner's theme for Mr. Han. It touched on The Moment of Truth for Ralph Macchio. So it worked somewhere, but there was no consistency in song choice or just overall score.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
also
I
took away
agree.
from it.
I agree. And I felt like there was a lot of score kind of underlaid, but it was kind of just repetitive beats. And I found myself a few times being like, just turn it off. Like,
Yeah, it was almost like they wanted Rob Simonson's score from Love, Simon. But
interesting.
without, think about the score for this movie. It's
Interesting, yeah.
very Love, Simon. But instead, it was like, all right, I'll listen to that, but I also want to throw some of this in, and I want to throw it's not a consistent score. And I don't mean to slam anybody, any artist that's out there doing it, whether I like it or not. Just for me, as a film watcher that likes consistency, this didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
On that level.
I definitely agree. And it wasn't something that I thought about until just now. I mean, You're the Best Around is like, of course it's corny by today's standards and perhaps even by those standards. Back then it was maybe
No, it worked.
But it's still pretty great.
Yeah, it's and it worked on Cobra Kai when they finally used it. They saved it. Spoilers, sorry folks.
Yeah,
we don't mind spoiling Karate Kid Legends.
I mean,
but if
look,
you've not yet watched Cobra Kai,
if you're here for Karate Kid Legends, we're assuming that you've seen everything else. But okay, so we talked about Jackie Chan a little bit. Ralph Macchio, how did you feel about him in this movie? Do you think he was underused? Do you think he needed to be there? What do you think?
I think the speed of plot required him to be there.
Okay.
I think member berries required him to be there.
Okay.
Because this is more of a sequel of the 2010 movie, just incorporating itself into the Kai-verse, I guess we'll call it. Even see, Cobra Kai to me, we'll call that's Johnny's story. It's 100% Johnny's story.
Right.
And so Cobra Kai, we're going to call it Breaking Bad, and we're going to call this El Camino, where it's just all right. So let's wrap up.
Right.
Ralph Macchio's story, although nowhere near on the same level, of course.
Yeah.
I could have used a lot more. I think it was just a selling point. Like, we'll get people in seats if we give them more familiarity. So that was just more, let's get Ralph Macchio in. It was nice to see Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan having fun together, though. They played off of each other really well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was having a blast. They beat this joke, just into the ground, but how they're just using Ben Wang as if he's a dummy.
Yeah.
Throwing around, doing lots of takedowns with him and showing different ways. I did feel like Ralph Macchio was a little underutilized. Like, it was very much like, and I'm here too, kind of a thing. That's not to say that he didn't do a good job or that it wasn't fun, like you said, to see them having fun together on the rooftop. That was cool. That was very cool. And I love Ralph Macchio. Outsiders is one of my favorite movies, like, of all time.
Do it for Johnny.
Yeah, and so like him as Johnny, I'll always have a soft spot for him showing up in anything. And then like you're the Karate Kid, and now you're getting to be in this movie with Jackie Chan, who's one of the foremost, martial artists in film history. That's really cool. I like that. I'm not like, no, nothing, no callbacks, no references. Sometimes that stuff sucks. Here, I thought it was all good. For me, if I had taken a shot every time they said one tree, two branches, I think I would have died of alcohol poisoning.
I've been sober for a little over 3 years, and I'll tell you, if I did a shot for every time they said it, I would be in the hospital.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing shots of? You got to be specific here.
Well, sake, I guess.
Oh, you know what? That would be perfect.
Yeah.
That would be perfect. Oh, man. I would be fit, chased, and hospitalized.
Yeah. Yep. So that got a little old. And then I did like when they're at the final fight and like, I taught him that. No, I taught him that. Okay, sure. You guys can do that.
You know what I could have done without though?
Yeah.
And they had to have it. There was no way they were not going to have it. But the fight where, Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Han fight some bad people together as a team.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. And once again, 9 to 15-year-olds, keep it in mind.
Right.
But this is something we saw for 6 seasons of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Well, 5, I guess. But it was always something that we were seeing. That it's kind of like, we don't need the teacher fights somebody. Mr. Miyagi doesn't fight anybody in the second one, except a piece of wood.
Yeah, that was odd. So I guess they're trying to sabotage Lee from being able to fight in the next. So they was
no, that's what it was. Yeah, they wanted
because that at that point it's not the loan shark guys, right? Like
I think they're involved with him.
Oh, you think so? Interesting. Yeah, I took that as this dojo is like putting people up to breaking a little kid's arm in full public view. Like that was the part of it that was really weird. These people
and this isn't a movie that already killed off a teenager in flashbacks.
Mm-hmm. It's like they come out of the crowd and be like, no one, whip out your phones for the next 5 minutes. We're going to assault a child.
Well, I mean, there are certain pieces of reality that you have to expect to not exist in this dojo.
Yeah.
Because that first movie, why doesn't he just call the cops? The second movie, why don't they just call the cops or, the embassy or something like that? This guy threatened his life.
Yeah.
The third one touches on that when Mike Barnes shows up and starts beating the crap out of him at Miyagi's house for calling the cops. And obviously the cops did nothing. So cell phones taking video of somebody assaulting a kid, this is not the universe for that kind of reality.
Yeah. Right. So we do get a bad guy, Connor Day, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Connor Day, played by Aramis Knight. I'm not super familiar with this guy. He was in Ender's Game, which I did see. I did not like that adaptation.
Of The Last Starfighter?
Yeah. But the whole movie, I was like, man, this guy looks so familiar. And I was like, oh, I guess I just have seen him before. But how did you feel about this guy as the, I guess main bad guy, maybe with
Mutt?
Yeah. I can't find his name.
Mutt just looks like the stereotypical rich douchebag guy. So there's really not that he's Mutt on this, but he just looks like, oh, I'm that guy with money. I'm going to flaunt it around. And it's just no substance for him. And then the kid, just no substance. He was there to be bad, and that was it. Mm-hmm. And in a movie for 9 to 15-year-olds, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But Johnny was a character you could have even rooted for in that first movie if it was your first viewing, and I was 9. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bummer because when you look at, hey, these are the greatest movies of all time, one thing that a lot of them have in common is a great villain, and we really don't see a lot of his motivations beyond just, I'm the best. And you're with my ex-girlfriend, and so I hate you.
Yeah, and just putting that in there was stupid.
Yeah, I was like...
But there's a cute little callback to the first one where, Ben Wang assumes that they're together because he sees them at the
carnival
street fair.
Yeah,
and that's the first one where Johnny kisses Allie. It's a member berry that didn't need to be there. It didn't really advance the story at all. It didn't create any more conflict between Ben Wang or the other kid. It just created unnecessary conflict to maybe pad the movie by 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But the bad kid, you look at the first one, Johnny Lawrence is a legend. Chosen is a legendary bad guy. Even Mike Barnes is a great bad guy. The fourth one, Michael Ironside is just always going to be, Mr. Bad Guy.
Yeah.
Except for V. And the 2010 movie, that kid was a good bad kid.
Yeah.
Like they all had some presence and they had a reason for being there.
Yeah.
This kid is just, his reason for being there is the speed of plot. I'm going to beat that one into the ground. Take a shot.
Right.
Go back and listen to the beginning of this. And every time I go on a 5-minute rant, drink.
Yeah.
And every time I say speed of plot, drink.
Yep.
But that's pretty much it, though.
Yeah.
Did you feel the same, or did you feel that he had any?
I would have liked to have seen what he does with this money. I would have liked to see why he has this motivation to be the best, and he's angry and he needs to. I don't accept when characters are just angry. Show me why they're angry. And everyone is always up in arms now about everything being based in trauma. I don't think you need to really do that. Maybe his dad owns a pizza place and they're under. You know what I mean? Like, simple as that. Like,
or you could just be an a-hole.
But just some stakes beyond brooding makes it interesting. You know, like. And yeah, definitely the weakest part of the movie, which is a bummer because it's who we're supposed to be rooting against. And yeah, one person that I was kind of surprised by as the movie went on, Wyatt Olaf as Alan. He's the tutor.
Stanley Uris from It.
Yeah, he won me over by the end, and I did actually was like, this guy is kind of funny.
I wanted more of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted it that way.
Yeah. That was very funny. And even in the beginning when he's like, you haven't met my mom. And the camera just holds on him for quite a while. And then he's like, did your mom give you that black eye or whatever he says? That was pretty funny.
It was good. No, and I liked him a lot. He was a more fleshed out character than the bad kid.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then Ming Na Wen as
not fighting
as Lee's mom, I kind of also was like, okay, they pull it together to where she's the doctor who's attending to Joshua Jackson, and so this is kind of how she gets brought into it. But she just folds. Like, she has that scene with Mr. Han. And she's like, I don't approve. And he's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm still.
We're just gonna do
happen.
it. Yeah, we're
don't
just
you
gonna
like
do
pizza?
It.
This is your neighbor. This is your neighborhood.
Yeah. So yeah, but overall, I mean, like I said, I didn't hate it. Before we finish, the final fight, we're going through a real, just fighting video game. Like, literally, like, graphics on the screen fight. And as they're progressing through the tournament, I was like, wow, this movie's going to be over really fast. But I actually thought it was good how quickly they show those fights and the points rack up, so that when you get to the main fight, which is obviously taking place over a longer period of time, every single point that was scored, I felt, and I was getting more nervous as they're getting up to 5 or 6 points. I'm like, this could be over in half a second.
And yeah, they got to those points pretty quick too. But it was a good fight.
Yeah, it was good.
It's not legendary. It's not.
No, they showed us the finishing move about 10 times before it happens. So
for a movie that telegraphs itself a lot, like in 1984, so you're not born yet. Nobody really knew. Like, it was just like, oh, that's something Mr. Miyagi does. Like, it's not something. I mean, also as a 9-year-old, I guess this isn't something you think about. You're not thinking about how a movie telegraphs something.
Yeah.
But I like how this gets done early on, like really early on in the film, and it's the thing he failed at, so it's the thing he trains at to win the fight. I thought fine. So it telegraphed it a lot, but it didn't do it to the point. It didn't do it. I don't know how to describe this, because it works because he knows he failed at it. So, like, this is what he puts the work into, where, like, Daniel gets lucky with the drum technique. He gets lucky with the crane kick. He gets lucky with the kata.
Yeah.
There's no, like, this one is kind of like, oh, I got my ass kicked because of this. The idea of it works. That's why there should be, like, a version of this movie that's a little bit longer that can explore the kid's PTSD more. Or, like, why did he fail that? Why why is this such an important move? Why can't we get a better move? Why?
Yeah.
But it's overall, it's a fine fight.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
We did see that move a lot.
Yeah. Training at the subway station is when the subway attendant is like, "How long are you guys going to be doing this?" I was like, "I kind of feel the same way, lady."
Oh, I liked it. I liked it more for her. And you know what? You've taken the New York City subway.
Yeah.
They're not standing there that long to really give a crap.
Right.
If they're even there at all.
Yeah.
That's movie magic, kids.
Right. Now it would be a little robot.
It would be the robot dog from Black Mirror coming after you.
Yeah. Yep. Was there anything else that we did not mention that you wanted to talk about?
Stuffed crust.
Stuffed crust. Well, I could talk about the pizza, the whole New York pizza of it all. I was looking at those prices, dude, on the wall.
They were so cheap.
I was like, no. This is all wrong. Add $10 to like every single one of those.
But even the drink prices, did you like a bottle of water for $1? What? Are you kidding me?
No way.
I'll take But how much are we going to spend to go into the city?
Right. Yeah. Stuffed crust was funny when, he's like, "Do you have stuffed crust?" And it's basically an insult.
But I liked it being his name in the tournament.
Yes. Yeah, that was good. That was good.
But yeah, I think I brought up the post-credit scene or the mid-credit scene.
Yeah, that I don't like, and I did actually feel like it was kind of
forced,
shoehorned in. And you know what? Just have William Zabka show up. Just have him be in the movie too.
But there was hardly any time for Ralph Macchio to be in it.
Yeah.
William Zabka would have been, as we've seen, kind of actually no, because they resolved that crap. But I think it worked better for the post-credit scene, and I liked it. I still think Zabka. I think something happened in that first season where we got to see him show this range.
Yeah.
That didn't really show itself as much the last every other season, but him coming in and just like even for a 5-minute shot, which they probably did while they were finishing Cobra Kai, it was fine.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be there, but it was nice to have like the Miyagi-Do joke that only Johnny Lawrence could make.
Right. You know what? I would have liked it more if, let's say, as the three of them are training and things aren't looking good, maybe Johnny's like, "Hold on, let me call somebody." And he gives him a call. We cut over to Zabka, picks up the phone. He's like, "I need your help." And Zabka's like, "No way." Hangs up.
Yeah.
He comes back to the other two guys and he's like, "We're on our own. Sorry."
That would have been good. And we would have had our F-bomb, our Johnny Lawrence F-bomb.
Yeah. So, but yeah, just kind of sticking him towards the end. I was like, it's one thing too many. But I know a lot of people enjoyed seeing him, and hopefully he got paid for it.
Oh, probably while they were shooting Cobra Kai.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, Sean, thank you so much. I think I had more fun talking about the movie than watching it.
I definitely did. I 100% did. And I was going to go see it again just so I could have it fresh in my mind. But like I said before we recorded, I watched Sinners instead.
That's okay. Hey,
so, but this movie isn't. I loved talking about it with you. I would like to talk about a movie that we both actually really, really liked.
Sure. Well, hey, come back anytime.
I would love to. We'll have to do. Well, we'll talk.
Afterwards. Yeah. Where can people find you online?
My Linktree is pretty much what I want to push the most because
Sure.
it kind of gets all my agendas into one because I'm very into animal rescue.
Okay, very cool. So
I'm very into rescuing cats. I have a feral cat sitting next to me that has been quiet this entire time.
Very good.
So my Linktree is Sean Faust Music. Sean spelled like Connery, Sean, Faust Music. And you're going to see at the top that I want to sell 1 million downloads of my song Gin Asylum, whether it's iTunes, Amazon, Bandcamp, wherever you buy it. It's not going to make me a millionaire, not in the slightest after all the payouts that happen from it, but it will give me a cushion to help animals, animal shelters, animal caretakers. So that's my main agenda, really. Is this, and I hope you just genuinely like my music, or you want to have me come back on the show and talk more movies with you, good sir. that would be awesome for everybody. First of all, if you have not given this show a 5-star review on iTunes or wherever else you can rate the show, please do so. I kind of like did a binge listen to the show, and I'm very, very interested in just more of your thoughts on other stuff. I'm that guy that takes notes. So anyway, Linktree, Sean Faust music, because I could ramble forever, as you could probably tell already.
Yeah.
And of course, adopt, don't shop, please.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, my co-host Michelle, she is a friend of All Cats Everywhere. And,
good. Your co-host is awesome.
Yes.
We are family now.
And definitely check out the link to that Linktree will be in the show notes. So please check that out and give Sean a follow and check out his music, definitely. And like he already mentioned, we would love it if you give us a rating wherever you're listening. Hey, if you're on Spotify, feel free to comment on the episode. That's a whole new thing that they're doing. If you're on iTunes or anywhere else, give us a rating and a review. It is the only way to combat the evil AI overlords who are pushing the same 10 movie shows to listeners. And folks, we don't want that. Well, maybe we do. I don't know. Those shows are okay too. But listening is great. Reviewing is better. You can also send us an email, moviefriendspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought about the Karate Kid Legends, or just Karate Kid Legends, sorry. Daniel LaRusso, stuffed crust pizza. Do you get the stuffed crust? Personally, I don't. I prefer my crust unstuffed. But send us an email. Let us know what you think. You can also support the show, patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. $5 a month gets you access to all of our additional episodes and series. You get access to our patron-only Discord, and you get to vote on upcoming movies and monthly themes. There's more stuff too, but quite frankly, I've run out of time and interest in telling you about it. But yeah, anyway, Sean, thank you very much. I really appreciate you sticking through the technological problems and helping me walk through this movie.
It was my fault.
All
of it.
No. Unknown error. But yeah, anyway, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And hey, thank you very much for listening. Until next time, have a good one.
Movie Friends is produced by Seth Vargas and Michelle Rubenstein. Theme music by Jean Marie Vargas. Visit us at our website, moviefriendspodcast.com, and please subscribe and rate our show wherever you are listening. You can support Movie Friends at patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Thanks for listening.